So, I went to the Delaware spring game. And what did I learn? More than I thought I would. Welcome to the Delacast. Do not adjust your television sets. I am Joe Elite Flacco, aka Joe Flacco Burner, and welcome to the very first video on this new channel. With the 2024 season in the rear view and the 2025 season quickly approaching, Delaware's rise to the FBS has me feeling like a dog on the first day of pheasant hunting season.
He's like that black lab on the first day of pheasant hunting season. He was pulling at the chain.
The anticipation for Delaware's move into Conference USA has Blue Hens fans equal parts eager and expectant. Lots of people think the move came about 20 years too late, and others are just grateful that it's happening at all, considering the domination of the Dakota and Montana schools over the past decade or so and the lack of any real championship runs, kind of as a result of that domination over Delaware's last few coaching tenures. But watching lots of CUSA ball on weeknights and weekends the last football season, I can say with only a little bit of hesitation that Delaware will be in the running for about 6 wins next year, give or take. And that's exciting. Now, there's still a lot of offseason to go and a lot of preparation to do, but the spring game answered a lot of questions and brought up a few more.
First and 10 Blue Hens.
Now, last year's offense was run by 3 big players, and I'm going to break it down a little bit. Number 1 is quarterback Ryan O'Connor. Now, O'Connor connected on about 61% of his passes last year for an 8-to-1 touchdown to INT ratio and an average quarterback rating of 140. Overall, a great quarterback who never gave me the implication that the ball was in danger when he had it in his hands. Unfortunately, after battling injury the last few years, O'Connor is retiring from playing college football, and that's a bummer. I hope Delaware didn't Andrew Luck the guy. That's all I'm saying. He only played 3 games this past year, playing against Bryant, North Carolina A&T, and Penn. And like I said, he played great. I think I heard he's staying in the building to some degree, and I wish him well in whatever he does next. Obviously, nothing but love. The good news, though, if you can call it that, is because of O'Connor's injury last year, we had lots of meaningful snaps for just about every quarterback in our depth chart last year. And all those reps kind of beg the question, who's the guy, Who's going to be the starting quarterback in 2025? The 2 biggest contributors from our quarterback room were Zach Marker and Nick Minicucci, both of which I kind of thought could be the number 1 guy moving into spring. Those who remember Nick Minicucci also remember his playoff run at the end of 2023 after Ryan O'Connor went out with injury at the end of the year. And they remember his miraculous comeback against Lafayette to win his very first playoff game. But they may also remember the INTs in the losses against Villanova, both this year and last year. In the 7 games where he took meaningful snaps in the past 2 years, he threw for almost 1,100 yards, and he ran for another 200 on the ground. Very productive quarterback, and I wouldn't bat an eye if he was named the number 1 moving forward. Last season, in games against Albany, Rhodey, Campbell, and Villanova, Minicucci had about a 63% completion rate and a 138.6 quarterback rating, as well as a touchdown to INT ratio of 10-4, which is great. For a sophomore quarterback who rarely took first-team reps throughout his career, you can't not be happy with that to a degree. I'm happy with that. The kid has his drawbacks, and he has some, Achilles heels, like throwing picks. But he is a product of Don Bosco Prep in New Jersey, and he's got real pop. He also has some real Daniel Jones in him. And he showed us that against Campbell. He's got a little Vanilla Vic in him, and you got to root for him in that way. I think he could be great. He could use a bit more development. But, I mean, you're only going to get that with time. And as a sophomore, I think he balled out in the starts that he got. Zach Marker is the other quarterback from last year who played significant snaps. And he also took a huge step from 2023, going from a 3-2 touchdown to INT ratio 2 years ago to going a perfect, dare I say, Joe Flacco-esque 10-0 touchdowns to INTs. And I guess I'll just cut to it. He's the starter moving forward, and that makes sense to me. Marker started out as a JUCO in Iowa. I'm not sure how many years of eligibility he has left as a result of that, but he is listed as a senior on ESPN.com. And I think Minakuchi could benefit from another year of good coaching and development. And with our injury luck, I mean, he very well may get some meaningful snaps. Knock on wood.
1st and 10 Blue Hens.
Another player that our offense ran through this year was, of course, Marcus Yarns, the running back, who ran for nearly 1,800 yards over the past 2 seasons, including a 66-yard touchdown in Happy Valley at Penn State and a 69 touchdown against Albany. Yarns was also a threat out of the backfield, receiving for nearly 300 yards last season, including a 65-yard touchdown against Villanova and a back-breaking 86-yard completion against Monmouth for a touchdown. It was his only catch in that game, and it was awesome. It was just a screen, just a bubble just out to the left side, and he just took that all away, and it crushed the morale for Monmouth, who up to that point was really playing ball with us. The problem, though, is that he's declared for the draft. And that's awesome, because I think he'll go. But it does mean that we're looking for that bell cow back again. Our new RB1 in 2025 will be Joe Nathan Silver, who had a lot of snaps in all 11 games last season, carrying for 462 and receiving for another 118. I like Joe a lot, and I think he's more than earned that starting role. And I don't have a ton of stats for you. I'm not going to give you some PFF ass, win rate per rush snap divided by open field yards. I'm just going to tell you he's a dog, and Saeed St. Fleur in the backfield with him, we should be pretty good in the run game.
1st and 10 Blue Hens.
Lastly, the last standout player I'll talk about who's gone now is Phil Lutz, the transfer from D3 Tufts University, who at one point had one of the best averages in the country, going 3 games in a row with averages of 32, 21, and 31 yards per catch. He finished with an average of 19 yards per reception, which is pretty awesome. 11 touchdowns on the year, that being 1 per game, because Delaware only played 11 last season. But he's stepping out. I believe he's graduating, which, great for him. Super smart guy, and he got his degree. And really, that's what college sports is all about. I was pleased to see that we're retaining Jake Thaw, the Michigan transfer. He caught 41 passes last year for 334 yards and 5 touchdowns. He transferred in search of a bit more receiver play. He mostly played special teams at UM, and he got it. He had good production for us last year, and I'm excited to see what he does next season. Jake Thaw is awesome. I'm glad he's here, Jojo Bermudez as well, I'm looking forward to. He was sidelined a little bit from injury last season, but in only 6 games, he still went for 216 and a touchdown, which is pretty awesome. You got to be happy with that.
1st and 10 Blue Hens.
Now I want to talk briefly about the defense. I was actually able to attend the spring game post-game presser. Shout out to the 302 Collective. And I got to ask Coach Carty a little bit about this whole transition, the loss of Ty Davis transferring to Temple this offseason. But at the spring game, I saw a lot of pop, a lot of great energy, a lot of good man coverage reps. I saw a lot of great reps from our DBs, like a Corey Lyde and Hassan Manning Jr., as well as good pass rush reps from our DNs like Kyer Price, the Rutgers transfer. And Coach Carty was talking all about how he's confident that our personnel are ready to make the move to FBS. He said a couple times, iron sharpens iron. And that's what I like to hear, I'm glad. Hey, what's up? This is Editing Joe. As I was recording and editing this episode, we put pen to paper with Keontae Jenkins, corner from Coastal Carolina, originally a 4-star recruit. And that's awesome. He is our program's very first 4-star recruit. That's awesome. All right, see ya. And the ESPN SP Plus ratings agree. The SP Plus ratings currently have Delaware at number 104 in the country, which, having not played a single snap of FBS ball, that's got to make you feel good. You know, that's going to put a smile on your face. That puts UD over teams like NIU, who beat Notre Dame last year in an upset. The bottom end of the P5, like Purdue, puts us over Temple by about 25 spots. And every member of CUSA except for Jacksonville State at 102, Western Kentucky at 94, and Liberty at 59. Hopefully we don't have a Kennesaw State or UMass moment, when moving up, and we can carry this good production from the past few years into some early production in the FBS.
First and 10 Blue Hens.
One last thing I want to touch on are the uniform changes. If you're tuned in, you may have seen on Twitter or on IG, or you may have seen at the spring game, there are last names on the jerseys. Not all of them at the spring game, only a handful of them did. I feel like we probably just haven't got the new jerseys in the mail yet, which is fine. But I just want to talk about it, because as someone who's gone to UD games since I was a baby, since Tubby Raymond was coaching, seeing the names on these jerseys made me feel kind of conflicted. I loved Delaware's positioning as like the Penn State or the Notre Dame of D2 and FCS throughout the years. That team who never had to change their uniforms because they were always successful. And I think if we hadn't made such big changes to these uniforms in the 2010s and we were still rocking these block numbers with no striping, I think I'd be a lot more against this move. But, I mean, we got to be honest. The uniforms we wear now are cool, but they're not sleek or elegant enough to demand that blank nameplate. It's not Penn State anymore. It's not Notre Dame anymore. The last names look cool. Seeing players light up for the new names and get just absolutely hyped for these new jerseys, it really swayed me, I'll be honest. Considering how much this will open the door to new NIL opportunities, it'll be a good thing. And like it or not, it's crucial in the current college football era. I know I've had my own takes about it, and that's not what you tuned in to hear, but, it's going to be a good thing for the program. Also, but like I said before, they just look cool. You really can't deny how balanced the uniforms look on the back. I always thought the numbers on the back weren't quite big enough for the amount of space that was back there. And the last names, it just really ties the jersey design together and gives a nice little contrasting pop of color along with the numbers. And honestly, another reason I'm excited for this move is because it kind of completes this transition from super traditional jersey design to super modernist jersey design. And ironically, these changes might justify and rationalize the need for a throwback to exist. And that would be awesome. Well, thanks for watching this video, guys. Just a handful of my quick thoughts after the spring game. I'd like to make more videos on this platform moving forward. Once the transfer portal closes, I'll do a roster breakdown. As we get closer to August, I can do a schedule preview, and I'll consider making some videos on some other Delaware sports as well. Softball is on a heater. Basketball just had a crazy postseason run in March out of nowhere. And lacrosse is giving us just a wildly disappointing season. So there's lots to talk about. Let me know what you guys want to see in the comments below. I'm going to try to make a video every week or two until we get closer to the season starting, and then we can do some real previews on matchups, game reviews, all types of weekly cool stuff. Hit that subscribe button, leave a like, and let me know what you want to see next. Until I see you, roll hens.